I'm 19 and live at home with my family. My younger brother Mike is 14. Has a group of friends in the neighborhood that he always hangs out with. They all enjoy skating and longboarding and stuff, so that's what they're doing most of the time. The boys are 14 to 15 and really nice kids, but most of their parents are hella weird. They have a group chat where they're secretly supervising the boys, basically constantly updating where they are in the neighborhood. My mom was added to the chat and showed me the messages to have a laugh about it, and it's honestly ridiculous. They'll send texts like, "I saw them at I Street 15 minutes ago. They were in our garden 5 minutes ago. I think now they're headed to the skate park." I think it's hilarious because our neighborhood isn't dangerous at all. One of the moms in the chat is especially annoying because she keeps calling our house and asking if her son Jake is there. We once were put in a group chat together for a church project, and since then she has my number and texts me all the time asking about the boys because my mom wouldn't respond. Now yesterday I was home alone at about 2 p.m. because my mom was at work and my siblings were out. Jake's mom had called my phone 2 times, but I didn't answer cause she was annoying me. My boyfriend came over and we were just sorta chilling in the living room talking and listening to music. We were sitting on the couch and started to kiss and make out a bit. It was all nice and peaceful, and suddenly I hear a really loud knock. It really made us jump because it was just so sudden. I turned to look and there's Jake's freaking mom outside, knocking at the window. I nearly hit the ceiling, I was so angry. I go outside and she's all like, "Blah blah, sorry to interrupt, I just wanted to ask because I haven't seen Jake in almost 2 hours, etc." Apparently, we didn't hear the doorbell because of the music, so she just walked around the house to investigate and look in the windows. I really blew up at her saying that she's a weirdo who stalks her son everywhere and a freak to look in other people's windows. I also asked her if her obsessive stalking was the reason for her divorce, which probably went a little too far. My boyfriend thought I was justified, and my brother thought it was funny, but my mom is mad at me because all the other parents are now blowing up her phone. She also thinks I shouldn't have said that stuff about the divorce. I feel sorry for putting my mom in this position, but I feel like someone needed to tell that lady how annoying her behavior is. Not the idiot, holy lack of boundaries, Batman. You were well within your rights to let her have it. I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the story. These women seem like a nightmare. You can't go peeping Tom level because your kid is gone for a while. It's not up to you or your mother to watch the kids who, by the way, could be getting into some nefarious crap and instead are just skating around. She was completely inappropriate. Not the idiot. Next time just call the police. That will pretty much take of the situation and absolve you of any responsibility. The other moms can't really get mad at you being concerned for your own safety when someone is trespassing and you have no idea who it might be. Just call the non-emergency line and tell them there's someone trespassing and you don't know who it is. Then sit back and enjoy as a squad car rolls up on this nosy woman who thinks she has a right to violate other people's privacy on their property for no reason. Everyone's the idiot here. You screw for bringing up the divorce, that was not your place to say. Plus, maybe she's on edge lately because she lost her husband and she doesn't want to lose her son too. Not excusing her behavior, but I've seen people do weird things during or after a divorce. You're but also an idiot for possibly ruining their friendship. Like another commenter said, his friend really needs him right now, especially after his parents have gotten divorced. So, I have this friend who was really affronted when I went vegan 5 years ago. I'm not sure why. I never made a big deal of it, to be honest. Generally, the worst things I have had to put up with from her are the occasional microaggressions. I'm generally pretty chill about it and tend to ignore her comments or change the subject. Recently, however, she seems to have upped her game. I don't know if she's bored in lockdown and is entertaining herself by bothering me or what it is, but she's become very intense about converting me back to eating meat, which I have no interest in doing. She's obsessed with sending me these videos of that vegan teacher. For those that don't know, TVT is some crazy vegan woman who has some very questionable content. I'm nothing like that, needless to say. Anyway, after months of receiving daily videos of TVT, updates on how I'm going to die from malnutrition, and being told that I'm part of a cult, my friend tells me of this amazing vegan mince that she's tried. I was surprised, but I guess I was grateful to have some reprieve from the usual, so didn't question it. By the way, I have suffered with health anxiety for a decade, and being bombarded with exaggerated health outcomes regarding my diet in the middle of a deadly pandemic hasn't been helpful, to say the least. So she's adamant she's making me a vegan shepherd's pie with this mince because I just have to try it, etc., so I agree to her dropping it off in my porch. I was actually quite touched at her thoughtfulness. Long story short, as I was cooking it, I noticed how meaty it smelled, but I've had more realistic meat substitutes lately, so my naive back thought nothing of it. When I took my first bite, I knew beyond anything that this was real meat. It really revolted me and I actually felt really betrayed and upset. I called my friend and asked her why she did that, and she said it was for my own good and that she was saving me from a cult. I lost it and told her that if anyone is acting like they're in a cult, it's her, that she's obsessed with making me eat meat, and that quite frankly it's getting weird. She cried and hung up. She's made several Facebook posts calling me an extremist member of a cult that's cutting me off from my friends. I haven't responded, but all her friends have commented on her status saying what an idiot I must be. I'm pretty exhausted by this, to be honest. I don't feel like I'm asking for any of this, and I just feel harassed. I just want to be left alone to eat my veggie burgers in peace. My friend seems particularly upset though, and I don't like upsetting people. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. What if it was a food allergy that she deemed fake and intentionally fed it to you? It happens more than you would think. That's abusing and manipulative, and, knowing many vegans, eating meat after a long time of not can make you quite sick. Get away from her and don't turn back. She gave all the warning signs for long enough, and you do not need to satisfy her biases. She doesn't get a say in your diet as long as you're not suffering from an eating disorder, in my opinion. Good luck. Not the idiot. You are so not an idiot here. That's a complete betrayal of trust. Regardless of whether it's a lifestyle she agrees with or not, it's not her damn choice what you do and do not eat. You need to remove her from your life. What she did was so toxic, and I don't know how you would be able to trust her again, certainly when it came to eating together again. Also, being off meat for so many years and then reintroducing it can make you quite ill to start with. Not the idiot, you need to cut this toxic entitled fool from your life. Her actions have zero excuses. She seems like she has some serious issues that aren't your responsibility to deal with. This person doesn't deserve a response, just block her and anyone who tries to talk to you about how you are wrong about her, or you need to give her another chance needs only one response. The topic of her and how she feels is not open to discussion. So, I, 29, am the godfather of my brothers, 35, 2 kids, 9, 8, their mother, unfortunately, passed away due to an accident, leaving my brother their sole provider. That happened around 2 years ago. When my niece was conceived, my brother asked if I can become their children's godparent and I accepted. Skip forward to now, my brother has found out he has cancer mid last year. He's been going to chemo, but it's not looking good. He called me up and we confirmed that yes, I am still up to the task of taking in his children if his cancer persisted. Hopefully, it doesn't. The issue, I currently live in an apartment with my roommate, 28. I approached him and essentially just played it out. If worse come to worse, I'll be taking in my brother's children. My roommate had issues with that, reasonable, who wants to suddenly live with kids, and said he didn't want to live with kids. So I said it's just a precaution, and in the event that my brother does pass, I won't subject him to kids, so I'll be moving out. He got angry. He said it wasn't fair for me to bail, and he hates meeting new people, so he can't have a new roommate, and he can't afford to live on his own. Our city is crazy expensive, like $1,500 a month for rent, kinds of expensive, and that's on the lower end. I said it screws, but that's just a potential reality I'm up against, but he would just need to deal with the fact that there is a possible chance I may have to take in my brother's kids, so I'll be leaving this arrangement. I wouldn't even need to find an apartment since my brother said I can just live in his house, that's in another city, but close enough where I can just drive to work, about a 30-minute commute each way, as to not displace the kids. House will be will to the kids. He said I was an idiot for not considering his situation, and by that point, I was pretty tired of going back and forth with him, since everything else happening to my life freaking screws, and said, I have my own life to worry about, why do I even have to also consider you in this? This convo was just to let you know what's up, and left to cool off. I probably won't even re-sign a lease with him even if my brother recovers. After his attitude over just a simple conversation to just lay out the potentially life-changing event, he's just someone I don't need in my life. It's been a week and we hadn't even said a word to each other. Am I the idiot for not considering my roommate situation if I were to take in my brother's kids? Not the idiot. You were doing the right thing by giving your roommate a heads up. I'm assuming that you would pay whatever your current lease would require you to, right? You are in a potentially super crappy situation between the loss of your brother, moving, and the huge transition of being responsible for kids. That is a lot, and the way you are handling it shows your strength of character. You clearly have tons of integrity and empathy. Your roommate, however, is an idiot. Not the idiot. Your brother is seriously ill with cancer to the point that he's making plans for guardianship of his kids, and your roommate is throwing a tantrum about the potential impact on him. And what on earth is he expecting you to do? Let them go to foster care so you don't have to move out of your current place. I can't imagine wanting to live with such an incredibly selfish person, and it would be totally reasonable to look for somewhere else to live or move in with brother to help. Not the idiot. Your roommate is upset, but that's not your problem. You did consider his situation in that you told him about this well before anything has actually happened. Your roommate is an adult and will just have to deal with the unpleasantness of finding a new roommate while you deal with the possibility of taking and grieving children while grieving yourself. My biggest hopes that your brother pulls through and you never need to put this plan in place, but you did the best by your roommate. This happened tonight and it upset me to the point to where I was crying and had to take a break from work. For some background, I, 23, am a server at a pretty busy restaurant in our city. The amount of money that I make depends on my attitude and my ability to work, besides the number of customers that I have and the type of crowd, and I like to think that I am really good at my job. Well, tonight, I had a table come in and 3 males sat in my section. They said they had a 4th they were waiting on and he would be coming later. Maybe 20 or 30 minutes later, their friend arrives and I greet him and ask him what he'd like to drink. His friends ordered his food for him. I then bring him his drink and he responds with yo 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 let me get your Snapchat, where I respond with a joking how old are you, what, like 17? Him, no, I'm 18 actually. I respond with that's great, but I'm not interested. I leave and then later come back where this conversation occurs. Him, congratulations on graduating recently. That's a really big achievement. Me, what? How did you know that? Who told you that? Him, don't worry about it. I know people. But congratulations. Me, you're making me uncomfortable, so I'm going to walk away. I later return reluctantly because even though I was uncomfortable, working in the industry comes with weirdos and the unkindly pevs. He then proceeds to say, 23. You look really young for someone who is 23. Keep in mind that I had not told this kid my name, let alone my age. I get freaked out and scared and respond with me, who told you that? Why do you know these things about me? Who told you that? Him, calm down, it's a joke. My sister works here. It's not that serious. It's just a joke. I connect the similar faces and confront her, my coworker, about the situation, and she said I'm overreacting and it's not that serious. I tell her that it's not okay for her to give out my personal information, especially after I told him that I wasn't interested and that it is serious because I have been stalked through my workplace before and this had become a scary and similar situation. She continues to tell me that it's not that serious and I'm overreacting and tells other coworkers that I'm being crazy. I told the manager that was working the situation and they had a talk. But I don't think that a talk of you shouldn't have done that is enough. I plan on talking to my general manager tomorrow of a more extreme consequence, since this is not the first time she has given out personal information on other employees and has had other multiple write-ups. So, would I be the idiot if I asked for her to be fired? Everyone's the idiot here. Giving out a coworker's info is definitely not okay, but it also does not deserve being fired on a first offense, and from her perspective, she wasn't even telling a stranger, it was her brother. She should definitely get a warning for this, but firing is extreme. Your emotions are real, but that doesn't make them rational. She had no way of knowing you were particularly sensitive to workplace harassment and she likely didn't even know they were harassing you. Not the idiot, but having said that, I wouldn't give them a demand or ultimatum about her. I don't think being scared was an overreaction, the guy was being an idiot, purposely playing to make you uncomfortable. Are you close to her? Can you just talk to her and let her know why it's such a big deal to you? If it's not a first offense, how was it handled in the past? If the same manager handled it and the behavior is still happening, absolutely talk to your general manager and let him know what's going on. I think what everyone is saying is valid. You don't give you the info without consent, but I think context is important. I tell my siblings everything. I know my siblings are not harmful people. If my brother thought some girl I worked with was cute and asked about her, I'd definitely say something like, "Oh yeah, she's 23, just graduated, she's nice," etc. You cannot control other people's actions. If this is something you cannot live with, then you need to make changes to your situation, not the other way around. My mom and dad have been married for a little over 20 years. They got married when my mom was 18 and my dad was 21. Apparently, the start of their relationship was a bit rocky and my dad cheated on my mom a few times, which without his knowledge, led to his daughter Tessa, 19. I don't know the details, but my mom forgave my dad and they have been great since. They had 3 kids, me, 16, and my sisters Danielle, 15, and Tanya, 13. My parents are pretty great all in all. As an example, my dad teaches me how to fix cars and me and my mom watch movies together, and we also do stuff as a family quite often. Now months ago, prior to all this crazy stuff, a girl reached out to my dad on social media, told her she was his daughter. They checked it out, turned out to be true, and my dad started spending time with her, and honestly, everyone was fine with it. After all, how couldn't you be? We, sisters and me, were asked to meet her too, which was fine, but it did not go very well. She is a very self-obsessed person and honestly quite rude. Again though, I was fine as I rarely saw her anyway. Well, she moved in. Apparently, her mom finally had enough of her because of her attitude and the fact she doesn't work or go to college. She told us a similar story, making herself out to be the victim, but that's what her mom told my dad. She is hard. She literally lays in the living room all day, is rude, and tries to order me and my sisters around. Because I am the oldest, she uses our stuff without asking, like my sister's makeup. She eats literally all the food. I even found her playing my Xbox in my room, in my bed. I mean, what the hell? Again, that would be one thing. I am usually outside or in my room anyways, but my problem is that she demands to be included in everything my mom and dad or we as a family does when she is not laying around. That fixing cars with my dad. It has become my dad fixing cars with Tessa because I no longer want to be endlessly criticized because she demands to come along. Watching movies with my mom has become watching movies Tessa wants to watch because otherwise she will throw a tantrum with my mom and Tessa because Tessa is super glued to the living room couch. Family time equals Tessa time because my dad caves to her every demand. So I finally lost my crap after months of this and yelled at them to get this weird idiot that no one knows or likes to stop ruining everyone's day 24/7. Well, I got yelled at by my dad, who said I should be more accepting of my sister, to which I told him she is not my sister, she is his screw-up 19 years ago that he now saddles everyone up with. My mom started crying, my sisters backed me up, and my dad was furious. Now, having cooled down, I sort of feel bad. I mean, I get why my dad is being like this, he probably just feels guilty, but if I am honest, I am also considering asking my uncle if I can live with him because I am sick and tired of this entire situation. So am I being an idiot here? Not the idiot. Your father obviously has had some underlying parental guilt regarding Tessa that has caused her over-inclusion and prioritization in the family dynamic for the moment. And because of this guilt, your sisters and yourself have been overlooked. Your feelings are completely valid, as a mere stranger barging into your family unannounced is a lot to deal with all at once. Trust me, she will wear out her welcome and not be the flavor of the month if she keeps up with her antics. If her own mother threw her out, that's saying something. Not the idiot, but the biggest idiots here are your parents, not Tessa. Tessa is acting out because A, she's being allowed to, and B, she feels entitled to make up for lost time, so she's taking full advantage. Is she responsible for her behavior? Yes, but don't forget that she's a new adult that had a screwed up childhood. This is not all on her. The big problem is that instead of incorporating Tessa into your family culture, she was given complete authority over the lives of 5 people.